Hello, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us today for this Nexford Virtual Tour this February. I can see we've already got 30 attendees and counting, so thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. For those who have already joined, I would love for you guys to introduce yourselves. If you could just jump in the webinar chat and let us know from where in the world you're joining us from today, as well as which Nexford program you wish to enroll in or wish to apply to. We're just going to wait for a few more minutes for more people to join us. Hi, good day, Chimezi. Hi, Akaimo Trazi from Nigeria. We've got Victor from Senegal. Hi, everyone. I'm Victor joining from Enugu, Nigeria. Nice to meet you. Thanks for taking the time to join us today. Hello, Emmanuel. Who else? Yutunde. Wow, Yusuf, you're Jordanian resident in KSA applying for MBA. I don't see that a lot in our Nexford virtual tours, so it's great that you're joining us today from there. Hi, Nosy and Joseph, Eliojo, Gabriel, Yetunde. Got a lot of people from Nigeria and Kenya today. I can see, Nosy, that you're interested in applying for the Master's in Business Analytics. That's one of our newer master's degree programs, so I'm glad to see that you've chosen that. Hi, Isaac from Ghana, and got Gregory from Uganda, looking for a BBA. Fantastic. I'm super glad to see you guys are very specific about your programs. I see some of you picking the specializations already, like Prince William from Nigeria, interested in an MBA with a specialty in blockchain. So that's our fintech and blockchain. Wonderful. Yeah, Victor applying for an IBM full stack web developer and BSc product management. Wonderful. Okay, so we've got professional certificates also from IBM and Google and Meta, one of the different offerings also from Nexford University. Okay, great. All right, I see 50 attendees so far. That's a great turnout. And anyone who's just joining, you haven't missed much. We're just getting through some introductions on chat, waiting for you guys to have joined us. I think with that, we've got enough people. We can get started. So for the 50 attendees so far, I just want to let you know that this webinar is being recorded. So if at any point you need to dash out of the webinar or you're facing any technical difficulties or internet difficulties that I hope none of us face during this webinar today, then don't worry, it's being recorded and it will be uploaded on our YouTube channel once it's done. Yeah, let me introduce myself. My name is Mai, and I'm a senior Nexford Application Specialist. I've been with Nexford for more than 4 years now. During that time, I've spoken with so many aspiring learners such as yourselves, whether through a call or on chat, or through these webinars. And I know how keen all of you are to pursue certain study goals or career goals, and you have so many questions about the online learning experience at Nexford and how it's different from other online universities or other online programs. I get common questions like, how is the learning experience going to be like? Am I going to feel alone? Can I get connected with other learners? Can I speak with professors? Do I get any career support during or even after I finish my program? Are there exams? And a ton of questions. So if you've come today with any questions like the ones I just mentioned, or otherwise, we do have a Q&A section or segment. Just please click on the Q&A box in your Zoom application. You should see it somewhere, the question and answer area, that is where I recommend you drop your questions anytime throughout the webinar, and towards the end of the webinar for about 15 minutes or so, depending on how many questions we have and how much time we have left, we'll be doing our best to answer as many questions as possible. So any question that comes in mind, if it's about a specific program or the learning experience, or maybe you have a question for some of the co-hosts I have with me today in the webinar, that would be fantastic as well. We'll do our best to answer all of your questions. It can be literally about anything about the online learning experience at Nexford. So please don't hesitate. We're here to help you and answer any questions that you have. And by we, I mean the lovely people I have on board on this call with us today. We have a faculty member, Dr. Bill Reed, and we have two Nexford learners, Yakubu and Omolade. So I will start just by having Dr. Bill introduce himself for everybody as well.
Thank you, Mai. Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. Thanks for joining us today. It's kind of an important time in education. We'll talk a little bit about that later. But I live about 100 kilometers south of New York City here in the United States, and I live fairly close to the shoreline, to the Atlantic Ocean. I've been with Nexford for, I lose track, I think coming up 3.5 years, something like that. I've been teaching online for 25 years. Yes, I started in 1999 when online education wasn't even called online education. It was called distance learnings. And we used to send 8-track tapes back and forth to people and mail assignments back and forth. Now with technology, we can sit here today and talk to you like this and share some of our experience and some of the information we've learned over the time. And if we don't have it, we can find it and we'll get it back to you. But welcome. I'll talk to you a little bit more later on. And thank you so much for joining us today.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Dr. Bill. All right, if I can hear next from Yakubu, if you can please introduce yourself to everybody. Let anybody know just what you'd like them to know about yourself, which Nexford program you're studying, of course, and for how long, and where in the world you're based.
Okay, hi. My name is Yakubu from Nigeria. I'm a business owner, and I'm currently on the Masters of Science in Digital Transformation with the Nexford University.
Amazing, amazing. That's also one of our new master's programs. So I can tell you're a fresh learner for how long now?
That is the 4th month.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's been quite an interesting journey.
Okay, amazing, amazing.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks so much, Yakubu. Thanks for. Sorry, I think I'm having an internet delay, so I couldn't. My voice was going over you. But it's great to have you. Thanks so much, Yakubu. All right, Omolade, if you can please also introduce yourself for everybody and let us know what Nexford program you're studying and for how long and where you're based.
Okay, good morning, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Omolade Alex-Olabisi. I'm an alumna of Nexford University. I finished last year, January 2023, and it's already a year plus. I remember when Dr. Bill was one of my professors then, and how wonderful he was. I remember then when he told us that his son is graduating. So I don't know if you can still remember. So it has been an awesome experience back to back and afterwards with Nexford University. So I graduated with specialization in e-commerce, and ever since it has been a blessing. Thank you.
Fantastic. It's great to have you, Omolade. I'm sure you have a lot of great stories you can share with all the aspiring learners today as well. So it's great to have a new learner and a graduate already, so we can hear about the Nexford learning experience from two different points of view so far. Okay, all right, guys, I think we can get started. So again, for anybody who's just joined, I see we have more than 60 attendees already. So just want to let you know this webinar is being recorded. So don't worry if you've missed anything. We've just gone through introductions and we're just about to dive into the online learning experience so everybody can have an idea how that looks like. And if you have any questions, please drop them in the Q&A section. I can see somebody dropped a question already, so that's great. That is where I prefer everybody to drop their questions so we don't miss it. We get a lot of different comments in the webinar chat, so we might miss it there. But just to let you know, aside from the 15 minutes or so towards the end of the webinar, where we're going to dedicate to answering questions live. We do have a Nexford Application Specialist, a team member in the background also, who is going to be helping answer your questions in the meantime on chat. Okay, great. So I will start sharing my screen with everybody. All right, I think everybody should be able to see my screen right now, but I would love for all to just confirm if you could just raise your hands, any of the attendees, just to let me know. Okay, Dr. Bill, you're always the first to see my screen, I believe. Thanks so much for confirming. Okay, I see a lot more people also raising their hands. Emmanuel, Jonas, Joseph, Rita, thanks everybody. Okay, great. So what everyone is currently looking at is the main dashboard of our online learning platform at Nexford. The learning management system that we use is called Canvas, and it is the same platform that is being used by Ivy League universities. It's super user-friendly. You're going to be told everything you need to know from the start to know how to navigate through this platform. And the great thing is that there is a mobile application that you can download as well. It's called Canvas Student. Everyone is free to download it from now if they wish, but I just want to let you know that even if you download it and you search for Nexford University, you're not going to be able to log into our online platform yet until you get enrolled at Nexford. So you have to get enrolled and have your login information, which you get as a Nexford learner once you've gotten enrolled, and that way you'll be able to access your online program already. So again, this is Canvas Student application. It doesn't only have to be on an Android. If you have an iPhone, also you can be able to download this mobile application. It helps makes your life, of course, a way easier when you're studying. If you want to study on the go, you want to access your program on your phone, you can check your grades, you can speak with learners or your professor, check your inbox, check your calendar, and so much more. But it is required that you have a PC or a laptop to be able to study at Nexford, because there are assignments that need a PC or a laptop to do them. It's much easier. And we also have what we call proctored assessments, which is the closest thing that Nexford has to exams, and they can be at the beginning, in the middle, and the end of your degree program at Nexford. So those require that you have, of course, your laptop and your video on and so on. So those are just important things to note. But the application is there, of course, to help you study on the go if you need it. Okay, so we're back in the main dashboard here, and I want to say that these boxes that you see in front of you represent either courses that you are currently enrolled in or a resource that you always have access to, such as the writing lab. We're going to get to that later, but I want to start talking about the NXU orientation first. All right, so NXU stands for Nexford University, and the orientation course is sort of your welcome package once you get enrolled at Nexford. It's a very short course that you're going to need to complete so you can learn how to navigate through the online platform, learn all about the university policies and the types of resources that you have access to and the kind of support and so much more. So it's going to tell you everything you need to know before you get started. You're required to complete this NXU orientation before you start your official Nexford program. It only has 4 modules, mainly 3 modules and just a conclusion. These can take even just 30 minutes to complete. So, don't feel, too worried about the NXU orientation. You're not getting graded on this, but you are required to complete it before you get started. Okay, so with that, let's just jump into the first module so you guys can have an idea. Okay, right from the beginning, you're going to get an introduction from our CEO, Fadel Tarzi, where he tells everybody a bit more about Nexford University and how it gets started and, Nexford's mission. I would love to play this for you guys just for a few seconds so you can have an idea.
It's been said that the future is a convenient place for dreams, so why not dream big? I've always known education changes lives, but I first realized its impact over a decade ago. On my entrepreneurial journey, I saw a gap between the skills of college graduates and the needs of employers. With my own startups, I struggled to find people with the right competencies. For example, I couldn't find a software engineer with effective communication skills. I couldn't find the creative designers who could plan. I thought to myself, Is this why unemployment stats of college graduates grab so many media headlines? And it's not our graduates' fault. Burdened by heavy debt, cohorts of learners walk away from university unprepared for the workplace. That's why I set out to create a university for you, one that I'm convinced has the potential to positively impact lives as well as millions worldwide. I'm Fadel Altarzi, and I can proudly say that I'm the founder and CEO of Nexford University. Expect
Hey guys, that is just a sneak peek for you. Hopefully you can watch it in its entirety once you get enrolled at Nexford. But I do want to say that this video right here is just a small example of the different and dynamic elements through which you're going to be doing your studying at Nexford. You're going to find videos like these that are embedded in the modules. You can find audio clips embedded. You'll find, very dynamic, pieces of information shared with you, links to outside resources or videos, and, blog length articles, and so much more. There's always something to keep you engaged. We don't want our learners falling asleep. So you'll find that, the courses get changed up a lot in the type of content that's being shared. All right. Let's move on to the next area. You can see here that you even get the option to email the CEO right from the beginning. You will get introduced to all the different teams in Nexford University, whether it be the admissions or the success team, which I'll talk more about today, or billings or finance or tech, and so much more. And then we get you introduced to the Nexford community from the beginning. We recommend to everybody to join these learner WhatsApp groups once you get started. It's great to have a study buddy. We have a lot of WhatsApp groups from all around the world, since we have Nexford learners from over 110 countries right now. So you can find WhatsApp groups that are country-specific, program-specific, or intake-specific. And if you don't find a WhatsApp group to your liking, you can always start up your own WhatsApp group and share it with our success team or our learner success team, and they will help you share it with other learners who can then join that group. Right. We even have the option for you to also join a peer mentor community, which are led by other Nexford learners who are dedicated to help making you feel welcome and help you get settled in the online learning experience. So as you keep going through the orientation, it's going to tell you, it's going to recommend that you introduce yourself to everybody in the discussion forum. There is a discussion forum that is included actually in every course. So for some of the courses, you're going to, you can drop a comment or a question or something, and it can be liked or responded to by other learners. But in this case, just for the orientation, the prompt here is just for you to, of course, introduce yourself to the community. So we encourage you to do that right from the start. So this is just an idea, of course, of the orientation. If you continue through the modules, you'll learn more about the university policies as well. We tell you all about, assignment deadlines and, how to set up your calendar, how to reach out to other learners or your professor. Do you ever need to take a break from your program? If you do, is that even possible for degree programs? And the answer would be yes. If you're studying an MBA, for example, you can take up to 4 months leave if you need to. Just let our success team know. For a bachelor's program or BBA, you can take up to 8 months. And if anybody has any, circumstances that is truly out of their hands, we understand life happens, and just share it with us as soon as you know. And I know our team will work with you to find a solution for that. And if you, for however long you need to pause your program. So exceptions can definitely be made. So this is the NXU orientation. Like I said, it can finish very fast, depending how you go through it. And it'll tell you about all the parts in the online platform that you need to learn about. But I will kind of, in some sense, be, taking you through my own version of the NXU orientation today, going through the different parts on the left side here, and this left side panel that follows you, by the way, no matter where you go in the online platform, as you can see. Even this Ask NXU tool follows you everywhere. This is a sort of virtual advisor, as we'd like to call it. You'll see here we have certain suggestions for questions for FAQs. But if you want to ask about something specific like grades, just type it in, and it'll also, you'll have different articles or different questions that pop up for you. For most of them, you'll see at the end, if it still doesn't answer your question, we give you, an email address or other contact information for who else you can reach out to receive further help. So that is the orientation, guys. Once that is complete, you can officially start your Nexford course. Every Nexford program or every Nexford course starts on the 1st of every month. You get to choose your start date once you're getting enrolled. You can choose to start right away, in the following month or up to 3 months ahead. And when you do, if you're, for example, studying our leadership and organizational development, it is not the first course in the MBA, but it is one of the early on courses, and something we can cover today, because if you jump to the people section of any course, this can give you an idea what other learners are enrolled in this course, as well as who is the teacher or professor that is teaching this course. Of course, I am in a demo account. I'm not a Nexford learner, so this is just an example. But in the role area, you should just look for who the teacher is, and in this case, it is Dr. Bill Reed. And of course, you would be seeing a lot more learners enrolled in the same course in that intake. So I'd love to give the mic here to Dr. Bill. If you could tell everybody a bit more about this course and what to expect.
I would be happy to. Let me just adjust my voice here a little bit. Okay. We can go right into a module, Mai. That would be probably easy. Skip some of the other things. There's so much just right here for you on our platform. It is the basis of where we teach from and where you learn from. You'll see here the different modules. We have module 1, module 2. There's usually 5 or 6 modules to a course, and they are your map on how to do the project and how to do the material. Each one has the learning objectives of them, how you demonstrate your knowledge of it. Sometimes they call for a research paper, other times maybe a PowerPoint presentation, something that demonstrates the learning. I think one of the key things is here, because many of you have been working for a few years or many years, whatever the case may be. And some of this you may know already and don't know you know it. Oftentimes we come across a part of a course where a learner in the class will say, oh yeah, is that what that's called? Oh, that's a Vero analysis, or that's a pestle analysis. Yeah, we do that at my job. I didn't know it had a name. It's the revelation of material that comes forward in this, and they are really, really simple. Mai, if you would just open up module 1 to start, just as an example, all the information is available to you, and it shows you exactly what we're going to do. Now, this will lay out how the learning occurs. We're with you all the way. By the way, you have access to your instructor, me in this case, and it explains to you, it gives you what you need to read, what you need to do, how you need to look at things. You submit your papers through the system that, as Mai called it, is the Canvas system. You go step by step by step. It is totally mapped out for you. There's not a lot of thinking you have to do on your steps. The thinking is about the material and the concepts that are included in each module. They're not particularly hard if you do them in order. They do challenge you. This is an organization of your existing knowledge, merging it with some new learning. That's what the degree is about, whether it be a bachelor's degree or a master's degree. The object is to make you a stronger person, a more knowledgeable person, a more employable person as you go into your careers and so on. One thing that I changed from my normal presentation here is before we went live with this meeting today, I was talking with our 2 guests, Yakubu and Omolade, and we were talking about the devaluation of the dollar and of the various currencies of all of our learners. And it made me just think a little bit about, you really have to learn a little more just to get by in today's ever-changing environments. I mean, every country has challenges, and the more you know, the better off you're going to be. That's my opinion. And this course and these programs offer you that. Yes, they help you in your career. Yes, they can, give you a couple of letters after your name, or self-satisfying to achieve a goal, which was a lot for me in this. But more importantly, it helps you become the person you may want to be. This material is business focused, obviously. So you'll be learning some things here that you may know already or you may not have learned. But each step of the way you get it, and in each assignment, we have one important component. It's called a rubric. That rubric shows you what we expect you to do in that particular assignment. So when you bring that rubric up, it is your roadmap to completing the assignment. and how we want it looked at. So the actual work, we show you the areas that you have to concentrate in and be sure of, and then that will be successful. This is the rubric I'm talking about right now. Do you meet the requirements? And each section from very high to low tells you what we're going to be looking for in that assignment. There's no guesswork here. If you use this rubric as your roadmap to complete the assignments, and you have the time and the availability, you will be successful in this program. It's one of the best organized and laid out programs that I've come across. I think it has a lot to do with our CEO, Fadel Altarze, comes from a business background. He knows the business world. The people who work for the business area have been there before. I know many of the faculty we have here from previous experience with them. Some worked for me, I worked for them, that sort of thing. And the majority have a business background before we get into academics, and I'm one of them. So we know the pain points, we know how it hurts, and we know the mistakes we made, and we try to share that with you through the learning experience in the course. So I'm not going to take up much more of your time, but one of the first things you should do is just look at the entire course. Go over it, spend a half hour looking at what's expected, look at the topics, say, hey, this one I have an idea about, or you may come across one that says, I never heard of this before in my life. And you might have to spend a little more time on that one. Resources are there. And one final point, part of the learning is writing as a bachelor student, writing as a master's student. We have a whole separate tab that you saw before about the writing lab, which gives you examples. It's no mystery. We do require what's called APA writing style. It's a big book that says a whole lot about being neat and orderly and how you do it in business. We'll go into that in the course rooms, and maybe you have questions about it later. But right now, I'll turn it back to Mai so she can go on with some of the other areas she wanted to share with you. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Bill. I hope that was informative for everybody, and you got to see also the grading rubric and have some sort of expectation set for you within each course. The other thing, we will be jumping into the writing lab shortly, but I know I mentioned also the success advisors, or the success team rather. They are a team that are comprised of success advisors who serve as your coach or your mentor throughout your Nexford program. We have so many success advisors posted all around the world, and that is why there is 24/7 access to contact them, whether it's through WhatsApp or booking a call with them or sending them an email. And often you'll find that these success advisors reach out to you before you even think of reaching out to them, because that is what they do. They help you succeed. It is really in their title, and they're tracking your progress. They're making sure that you're on track, so they can tell when you're struggling through a certain course or within your program. So they'll probably reach out to you and see how it's going and encourage you, and that is what the success advisors are there for. So I'd love to learn more about the experience that the co-hosts that we have today, Omolade and Yakubu, also to tell us about their experience with these success advisors. But first, I'd like to ask Yakubu, since you've just gotten started incorporating the Nexford online program with your life and with your job, so do you have recommendations for people and how you've been managing that with your life, your study schedule around your life, and if you have any tips for anybody?
Okay, thank you, Maya. So one thing I find very interesting is during the orientation program, I got a tip from there, which was if you could just put in 2 hours, 3 hours a day, like an increment, and it will be easier for you to be able to cover up on a lot of work. So I decided to start up with a 2 hour a day. So what I do is after my normal working hours, I get back home, relax, then maybe just 2 hours before bedtime, I try to go through my schoolwork, and I find out that if I put in 2 hours daily, I'm able to cover up all the work I need to do by the end of the week. So it's been very convenient for me that way. There are some times I've been off track a bit, that has stressed me up a bit, but then most times I try to keep on track, and it's been very convenient in that way. And one thing I must say is the success team has been really helpful, because I remember when I started my first module, I was lagging behind a bit. And just like you said, before I even contacted them. They had contacted me, realizing I was having a bit of a challenge, and I was probably shy about asking for help. And then they immediately contacted me and helped me out to really reach out and boost my confidence to really communicate and open up about my problems, So it's really been lovely, the support. And I can tell you something I've also experienced on this program is the professors are really helpful, because when I was doing one of my more technical modules, I think that was the Internet of Things, and I had this challenge that I was taking my final assessment, and then I had a disconnection with my internet. And so it immediately submitted my work when it was unfinished. And yeah, that was on Rosaline with AI, and I mean, the AI-enabled Rosaline. So and the interesting thing was this. I got in touch with my professor. I said, this is the problem. He said, okay, look, contact the IT support team. I did just that. And they did I believe, some investigation and found out that it was just an internet downtime. And so immediately I was allowed to retake the assessment, no penalties, and I was good. So that was really, I was really happy about that. Yeah.
Amazing. Amazing. That's a great example of the kind of support, that Nexford can provide you in some tricky situations. Thanks so much for sharing that, Yakubu.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I hope that brings some comfort and ease to some, aspiring learners that we have on the call today that are a bit, apprehensive about the online learning experience, or, feeling alone, or what happens if you have any sort of technical difficulties like that. I'd love to hear from Omolade also, if you can let everyone just know about some notable things, you have about your experience with success advisors or assessments or professor feedback and so on.
Okay, thank you, Mai. So during the course of my Nexford journey, so the worthwhile, starting from, I think there was a time I had a challenge with one of my courses. I submitted, and at the point of submission, the plagiarism test, the Turnitin, flagged it to 32%. And meanwhile, the professor had actually acknowledged that it shouldn't be more than 30%. So at that point, I was like skeptical, what's the grade going to be? So eventually the grade, I think that was the only C I had. The grade came out C. And before I knew it, I already received a mail from a success advisor stating that they would like to book a one-on-one section with me regarding my last week. And lo and behold, I accepted the mail. She put a call through to me, made me realize that I should just be confident that having a C does not mean the overall will not still be an A, that if I can put in my best to it. And truthfully, at the end of the course, I had an A eventually. But for me, at that point, I was just like, look at the timely and conscious effort that was put in place by the success advisor. I didn't contact anybody. Like, I didn't send a mail even to the professor. But yet, the success advisor contacted me that they realized I had a C. So for me, at that moment, I realized, okay, there's somebody actually putting a check through to whatever we do. And I remember, for me, I will always tell people that I've told about Nexford and I started their course journey that peer, at that point, that orientation is key, because that is the time you'll be able to meet with your other co-learners, home and abroad. Okay, you're in Nigeria, you can connect with somebody in US. I remember one of my close friends till we finished. Okay, I think I even finished ahead of her. She's in US. She's in Nigerian though, but she's based in US. So because of this think and pair of a thing, we met, and along the line, till we finished, we were together. We are like more like sisters, and we connect smoothly. So that was one thing I would say. When you are in Nexford, don't think because it's an online program, just like Yakubu nearly fell victim of, that nobody to talk to, nobody to share things with. There is actually success advisors. The professors are open to educate you, to put you through your challenges. And the WhatsApp group chat is always awesome. Whenever you don't even know how to navigate through your assignments, somebody is there to assist you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Omolade. That's fantastic. Thanks so much for sharing. If anyone in the call has any questions around what we've discussed so far and about the success team support and about the learning experience, please don't hesitate to send in your questions. Just a reminder to send them in the question and answer or Q&A portion, because I can see some of the attendees dropping their questions in the webinar chat. We'll do our best to pick those up, but in between the different comments, there's a small chance we might miss your question, and we wouldn't want that. So please make sure to send them in the question and answer area. All right, I will start sharing my screen again, guys, so we can jump back in the online platform. Okay, so we're back in the main dashboard here, and I just want to talk about some basic features in the online experience. So you can see with these courses, they have these 3 dots here where you can select a different color for them. You can even do a color overlay for a sort of clearer way to differentiate between the courses. But where does this make the most difference is if you jump to the calendar area. So if you go to your calendar, you'll see that there are items automatically added in your calendar that are color-coded depending on the colors that you choose for the different courses. You can play around with your view like that, and you can also click anywhere just to add your own event to the calendar, or you can add your own to-do item. If you want to flesh that out a little bit more with more details, just click on more options. You can type out, more details to the event, and then of course add it to or create the event in your calendar. The great thing is the calendar can be synchronized with your PC or your laptop or your mobile phone, any calendars that you have, so that way everything is connected and you never miss out on any important reminders. And then we have the inbox, which is one of the easiest ways to communicate also with anybody. You do receive, some announcements from course faculty or otherwise, even our tech team sometimes in your inbox. And you can receive, of course, messages from other learners or professors. But I want to show you how easy it is to compose a new message. Just click on that and select a course that you are enrolled in. For example, leadership and organizational development. Do you want to speak with a teacher or a student? Let's say you want to speak with a student in this case named Abigail. Just put in your subject and your message and send, and it is that easy to send a message to anybody in our global learner community. So that is the inbox, which you would have access to also, of course, in the mobile application if you do happen to download Canvas Student. If you click on courses, it's just going to give you an overview of the courses that you're currently enrolled in. History will just take you to the previous pages that you accessed in our online platform. And then I want to tell you guys about the writing lab. So we mentioned that a few times already. We know that not everybody is a natural born writer, and for the types of assignments you're going to be required to do throughout your Nexford program, you may be asked to use certain formatting you've never used before. So this will tell you all about that, tell you how to use that, what those formattings are about, and it is the area that can also help you with your academic writing and your research skills. So there is a module section you can jump to, which has either videos or articles to cover certain areas like the NXU style guide, APA style, which is one of the types of formatting you'll be using when you're doing some assignments. You'll get tips and tricks on paraphrasing, English grammar, paragraph structure, and so on. And then here are a couple of frequently asked questions as well. And again, if these don't answer the question that you have in mind, you can always reach out to a success advisor. All right, so this is just one of the many learner benefits at Nexford. You'll see here also we've got a library and LinkedIn Learning. So I want to tell you about our NXU library as well. So let's open that up here. So the NXU library is a robust library of over 60 million resources that cover so many different topics. We can jump to a specific group here, or I can just scroll through some of them so you can have an idea. You'll see that these include encyclopedias, they include research papers, blogs, articles, news articles, ebooks, and so much more. So it's a great research tool for you that you can utilize while you're studying at Nexford. That is just one of the many benefits. And then, of course, we have LinkedIn Learning. Let's jump to that. So if you haven't heard of LinkedIn Learning, it is connected to LinkedIn, which I'm sure most of you would know. Normally for LinkedIn Learning, you need a subscription, a paid subscription, but as a Nexford learner, you get free and unlimited access to LinkedIn Learning, to over 16,000 LinkedIn Learning courses and videos at no additional cost. So these can cover so many different topics, around the world also. You can study anything that is not even related to your Nexford program, and that's a great thing. You have the freedom to do that if you want to learn additional skills. However, if you do want to study something that is more related to what you're already studying at Nexford, the great thing is that within some of the courses, we drop suggestions for you for what LinkedIn Learning courses you can take that is related to a specific module. So for example, in this MBA course, in some of the modules, for example, module 1, you'll see an expand area that says LinkedIn Learning Change Management Foundations. And here we are recommending that you take this LinkedIn Learning course. Same thing for module 2. We recommended that one. We did it in module 3 and so on. So you get the idea. And that is if you want to study something that is more related to what you're already studying in LinkedIn and now, with Nexford. And the great thing, of course, is once you do complete any LinkedIn Learning course, you do receive a certificate of completion, which is a great thing to show off to your community. You can post it on LinkedIn. This is one of the many benefits that our learners really enjoy, because you do receive a certificate of completion that looks like this, depending on what you studied. And you can add it to your CV or your resume. You get to show, your community or your employer or whoever that you are not just waiting to complete your Nexford program, but you're learning additional skills on the way to graduation as well. So with LinkedIn Learning, I do find often that with a lot of Nexford learners, they find it such a great benefit because they get introduced to the whole LinkedIn, community, which they never thought would be this beneficial to their career before. They get, options to do a lot of networking and get to know a lot of people around the world. So I do want to ask, I don't know if Yakubu has had the chance yet, since you're just also getting started with your, Nexford journey. But I'd love to ask you, either you or Omolade, feel free, either of you, to jump in and weigh in on this. If you've gotten the chance to speak with other Nexford learners from around the world, whether through LinkedIn or maybe another platform through Nexford University, just please feel free to let us know.
So for me, I have actually been able to contact several learners. I think I had a friend in Philippines. In course of the journey, because of the NXU study, I had a friend in Philippines. I had a friend in the US that till date we are still in contact. So it has been a good network journey for me.
Amazing. I'm happy to hear that. Thanks for sharing, Omolade. That's great. How about you, Yakubu?
Well, I'm relatively new on the program, but then one thing I found quite interesting is that, from the discussion forum, I've had the privilege to comment on people's work, and then people are so polite, so kind. They respond back, and already I think we're building the bricks for the interactions. So I'm not there yet, but I'm on my way there.
Amazing. Amazing. That's great. I'm so glad that you've already started to communicate with them from the start and really utilizing also the discussion forums. So I know you'll get there. I know if I ask you in 6 months or in a year time, I'm sure you'll have a great community from around the world as well. All right, fantastic. So we are nearing towards the end. Just letting all the attendees know, we'll be starting to take live questions very shortly. So please drop in your questions. Now is the time. I know our Nexford Application Specialist in the background has been helping answering your questions already. We've got around 12 questions answered already in the background from the question and answer box or segment. But I know we have some questions in the webinar chat also that I think we're doing our best to respond to. If they're not responded to, please guys, make sure to send it in the Q&A box at the bottom of your screen and not the chat. That way we'll make sure to answer all your questions. Okay, I think the last thing I want to talk about is just the further, learner benefits that you get at Nexford, which I want to also just clarify that everybody can get access to these learner benefits just from the moment they get enrolled at Nexford. So if you finalize your enrollment early, even before you start your Nexford program, you'll already have access to the online platform and all of these learner benefits from early on. So, if you enroll today, but you're not ready to start on March 1, for example, you want to start 1 month later, from, now until that time, you'll already be able to access this online platform, not your Nexford course yet, but you'll have, access to LinkedIn Learning, to the NXU library, and so much more, and the writing lab, for example. So I want to jump to our career page on our website, which will tell you more about the different ways that we assist you with your career goals and your career development. So if you're taking our MBA, for example, you get your first career planning session during your 3rd month learning with us. And then, of course, we have all those different, offerings like LinkedIn Learning, which I've already covered today. And then there's also IBM Digital Nation Africa. So if you are based in Africa, which I know a lot of the attendees on the call today are, so luckily you will also get access to this. And if you do, you'll see that it's more tech related. So if you're into cybersecurity or AI or programming, then this is the place for you. And then we also have Forage. So Forage is already a free resource. You can check it out on their website here. So it is a career resource where you can get virtual work experience, but at real companies like JP Morgan and Accenture. And it gets to complement the learning that you're having, of course, at Nexford, and you get to apply those skills that you're learning and choose to share your task submissions with recruiters, which can lead to interview opportunities for internships. And just like with LinkedIn Learning, within some of the Nexford courses, we also leave those suggestions for you. So again, in this leadership and organizational development course, at the top here, you'll see that we suggest you take this virtual work experience program from Forage because it is related to this course, this specific course in the MBA. This is just an example, and it is not a requirement. So that is an example, guys, of all of the benefits. I would love to ask final questions here for Yakubu and Omolade. If I can start with Yakubu, and if you could just tell everybody about your Nexford journey so far and what are some of your favorite parts and some of your challenges.
Okay, that's awesome. When I started the whole Nexford journey, it was born out of my desire to kind of like get something that would tickle my fancy. I wanted to get some more education on things that fascinated me. And so the whole combination of the MSDT program was really fascinating to me because I have a background in business, but then I just kind of in the last few years started developing interest in IT. And so the course was just a perfect blend for me. And so when I came in, it was like, okay, let me see, how is this going to be? And then I realized the first thing I noticed on my first module was the standards were so high. Like your pass marks start from a 70. I mean, I haven't been to any school that I'm graded from 70 as a pass mark. That's supposed to be an A, but then I had to start from a 70. So I now realized the challenge I was up for. But then the beauty is that there's a lot of resources to enable you get through, to get by. There's a lot of rich resources in the library, the LinkedIn Learning, and everything. So it proved that I just need to work more hard, and then I should be able to get by. So for me, it's been really interesting with the amount of resources I have at my disposal, and just like you said earlier on, I actually go out of my way sometimes to study some other things that on LinkedIn Learning, just to kind of get some additional knowledge, even though it's not in the scope of the module I'm doing. That's when I have extra time. So for me, that's been really beautiful. The challenges I've had is nothing that's the fault of the school, but more of like, I need to kind of like push myself even more, I mean, before I got on this master's program, I've been through other master's programs before. And for me, this is really, there's a lot of resources to read, so you have to do a lot of reading. And so that's the challenge I have. But then I enjoy reading, but then sometimes, you're kind of like constrained with time. So you have to kind of like manage everything together. That's all. But it's really been a beautiful experience, actually.
Amazing. Thanks so much for sharing, Yakubu. That sounds great. You're definitely setting, expectations of both, the great parts and also some of the challenges that are, natural to come along with, any sort of learning experience. Okay, I'd love to ask Omolade also, how would you say your Nexford program has changed your life so far?
Okay, thank you for that question. For me, the Nexford has brought about transformation, growth, exposure. So it's not the leadership training skill that Nexford will give you and the organization culture you are exposed to during the course of the learning. There's a way it modifies you. There's a way it affects you on the job. It makes you realize that, okay, the way you reasoned before or the way you psychologically conclude about people might not really be, because we are from different backgrounds. So Nexford actually brings this scope into their syllabus and makes you realize that, okay, when you are working, don't just limit it or think people should think the way you are reasoning. So it has brought about that for me, like understanding people the more, then improving my leadership skill, my exposure. I've mentioned that. Then another thing to it again is you can't go through Nexford and you won't experience growth. It is not possible. I've taught people, and for people that are introduced to the school that have also graduated as an MBA holder, they have also experienced growth. You can't go through, I don't know the magic about it. I don't know the blessing attached to it, but I know that you cannot come to Nexford and finish as an MBA holder. For me, I've known more of MBA holders. I heard about few BBA holders too, but we are not that close. But one thing I know for sure is you cannot practice MBA in Nexford and your life will remain the same. So for me, since I finished my Nexford, it has been growth, it has been exposure, and opportunities have actually been coming. So it is even less for you to now be thinking, which one should you pick, which one should you not pick? Yeah, that has been the journey so far.
Amazing. Thanks so much for sharing, Omolade, exposure. I love that. That is definitely something I think that would encourage a lot of people to just get their learning journey with Nexford started. So do you have any final advice for, current and aspiring learners at Nexford? Omolade.
Okay, thank you, Mai. So for me, to the current learners, what I would just say is stay ahead. You can always achieve this. No matter the challenges, I had challenges with, just like what Yakubu said earlier, submitting assignments and you're saying that you are seeing your grade. In Nigeria, actually, with 50, you have passed. But coming here, you are saying that 70, yes, you passed, but it's a C. For you to have a B, you must have 85. And for you to have an A, you must have 90. But I tell you this, it is actually achievable. At first, I remember I was telling my husband that, is this something I can actually do? But I saw myself actually doing it. For me, I spent 9 months all through for my journey. My foundation, I spent 5 months, and my core MBAs, I spent 4 months. So being a married woman, if I can do it, I believe any other person out there can actually achieve more. And for me, for some of my colleagues, I even went through Nexford. They did, some completed it in 8 months. So why me, I'm saying 9 months, somebody completed it in 8 months. It's about dedication. And all I can just say is for aspiring learners and current learners, stay ahead, just keep concentrating. You've already set this target, you already know that this is what you want to do. Just keep determined. That determination is key. Once you are dedicated, you achieve it. And one thing I need you to know is that when you're in Nexford, you are not just in any other school. You're in a school that the success level is higher than any school. You can't compare it to, I'm sorry to say, you can't compare it to a Nigerian school. You can't compare it to any other school out there. It's strictly 100% online. And this online thing is giving you that maximum support that you need. The exposure you need academically, the knowledge gap you need to fill up, you are getting it there. So what I would just say is stay ahead, be determined, and you will achieve it at the end of the day. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Omolade. That's fantastic, fantastic advice. Thanks so much for sharing.
You're welcome.
All right. Yakubu, can I also please, hear from you if you've got, any advice for, current or aspiring learners as well?
Yeah, sure. One advice I want to give to prospective learners is that just try to schedule yourself properly, Don't stress yourself and wait till after a whole week, then you start trying to catch up a week's work. That way you're going to be very stressed.
Yeah.
You just need to decide on an hour. I would advise 2 hours, a day, and just keep at that pace, over 6 days in a week or 7 days in a week, you get your work covered and you have enough time to do some extra reading, from other resources that are available. So that's one major advice I would give. And I'll advise that you take advantage of the LinkedIn learning resources, because already right now, I've already done like 3 certifications, and I have my certificates for it, which is just, I'm not big on certificates, but I just kind of like the idea that it shows that, I mean, like a pat on the back for me, So I think you should take advantage of that. There's a lot of resources. Take advantage of it. No knowledge is wasted, and you'll find it useful down the line. So that's what I'll advise. Yeah.
Fantastic. Thanks so much also for sharing, Yakubu. Alrighty, I think this sums up our virtual tour today, guys. We will be taking some questions live as promised. I know we have a lot of questions already answered in the background, maybe 20, almost 20 questions. I see some pending still in the question and answer portion. I do see the first one here that I recall once upon a time Dr. Bill had a great input on this. So perhaps I can give this question to Dr. Bill, because I am not too sure, but I'll say my take before I pass on this question to Dr. Bill. So it's from an anonymous attendee asking, hello, how do you prevent students from using AI like ChatGPT while answering questions? So this is a very modern day, question, and I think, I don't believe we can prevent people from using ChatGPT, but I think it'll be very obvious if it's completely ChatGPT without any edits or any input from the learner themselves. I'm sure Nexford has a way to weed out, through those types of assignments or so on. But please, Dr. Bill, if you have, something you can add to this as well.
I definitely have a thought on this. Artificial intelligence, welcome to the new world. This is going to be everywhere, and this is only the beginning. It's not just going to be in education. It's going to be in everything we touch. My children and my grandchildren, it's here. We at Nexford do not discourage the use of artificial intelligence, particularly ChatGPT, as this one anonymous person mentioned. We encourage you to use it just as you would use any other resource material. If you look something up in the library, you cite it and you source it. You do the same with AI. But to those people who think this is a shortcut to completing your degree, it is not. We have the capabilities through our authenticity checking software, also known as plagiarism software, to know how much is coming from regular resources and how much is coming from AI. We get a report on this. So for those of you who are potentially thinking of a less than perfect way to get through college, AI is not your answer. It is another tool. It's an excellent tool. I use AI all the time as a tool. If you think you're going to copy it and put it in as your paper, I wouldn't suggest it at all. You will, the first time you get a slap on the wrist, to be honest with you, don't do that again. The second time you're facing much more critical handling of that matter. So AI is an excellent tool. I don't discourage the use of it at all, much like using the library to look up an author, look up a theorist, look up a question you have. It's a great tool, but don't use it as your own words. You need to paraphrase it. You need to digest it, understand what it's telling you, because we want to know what you think about it. I can find out what AI thinks about it in 5 seconds. And if they answer your question for you, we'll give them the degree because you didn't earn it. When you take it and use it as a tool, you will excel in what you're doing.
Perfectly put. Thank you so much for sharing, Dr. Bill. I hope that answered the question from the anonymous attendee. I see another question here from Yusuf Alakad, who says, I need to have more of an idea about how the assignments after each course are like in the project requirements, and it would be helpful if you have some real examples to have a bit more of a clear picture about it. So I'll briefly share my screen just in one of the assignments from the Leadership and Organizational Development course from earlier. I'll just scroll to the area where you could actually see that specific assignment. So let me just share my screen. So earlier we did jump to this case for change assignment here. And we talked about the grading rubric, which you would have access to go through before you complete the assignments. You know what to expect or what's expected of you and what areas you need to meet so that you can have higher grades. In this assignment, for example, you're being asked, to choose between these two options. And I went ahead once upon a time, pretended to answer option number 2, where I downloaded this Word document that consists of a worksheet, like a table that I had to fill. Of course, I didn't actually fill it, but I'll show you how that looked like. So this would, prompt you to download it on your PC and then fill it up. So I did, and then you upload it again here. So this is what that was, and I'm being asked to put my answers here on the right side, which I filled with just dots, but just as an example for you. And then as you can see, the professor of the course, in this case, Dr. Bill, can drop some comments to tell you this is great, but any points for improvement that he might want to add, that next time you can do this or that to maybe achieve a higher grade. You can even get complimented on certain areas and so on. Of course, Dr. Bill, if you wish to add something to this, feel free to, but this is just an example of one of the many types of assignments you may be provided at Nexford.
Yeah, and keep in mind, each assignment, it's total, 4 pages, 5 pages, 6 pages, or a PowerPoint presentation. And keep in mind, with each assignment, you're not going to change the world here. You're just going to demonstrate that you know what you're talking about to that point. You can change the world when you graduate, but this is just a continuum of learning points. So a 4 to 5 page paper is normal. Maybe some of them are 2 to 3. I think many of them are 2 to 3, where you go forward. Now we require that you stick it to 2 and 3 pages, because some of these topics there's books written on them. We ask for 2 or 3 pages so that you can demonstrate what you think is the most important part of that topic. And once you do it once or twice, it really becomes second nature to you, and you become less concerned about all of that, and you just answer the question. One of the biggest things that delays progress is people overthink and overcomplicate a matter. Read the assignment, go to the rubric, answer the question. If you don't do it right, I'll tell you. The professor will tell you. It's okay to do that. And every time you get to a point where you get frustrated with this learning or with anything, the kids are yelling, the job's terrible today, I can't pay that bill till next week, and all these little problems. I mean, you get to the point where you want to just take your laptop, fold it up, throw it away, and forget the whole idea and go out and have a beverage somewhere. Usually at that point, you're about to learn something very important. So save that little energy for that next hour or 2 or day or 2, because you're going to emerge from it smarter, better, and stronger, and more confidence in yourself. So that's the assignments, whether they're 2 pages or 5 pages or 6. That's the goal of an assignment, is to show you don't know that part about that topic. Simple, right?
Right. Thanks so much, Dr. Bill. You're making me want to enroll right now.
Sign up. There you go. You got the application.
Exactly. Thanks so much. Okay, I see just 2 remaining questions in the question and answer portion. There is a question here from Naidu. I'm not sure if I'm saying the name correctly. I apologize. Who is asking, do we get all the reading materials and textbooks from the school, or are we going to be buying them ourselves? So I know this question was earlier on, so perhaps you didn't have a chance yet to maybe see how we showed you the online learning experience. It is all online. Everything you need is online. It's within our Nexford platform. If anything will take you to an outside resource, it'll still be from within the course inside, or the module in our online platform. You'll be given a link maybe to go to YouTube or something sometimes to, these external resources, but it'll still all come from within the online platform. There are no additional costs. You're not paying for any of the materials or anything like that. The only payment that you're doing at Nexford after paying the application fee and getting enrolled is just the monthly tuition fee for the program that you're studying. There are no, hidden or additional fees. Everything you need is online. Anonymous attendee asking, please could you take on additional course loads to complete your master's program earlier than the standard course duration? And if you complete your course within 12 months, would you continue to pay monthly fees even though you have graduated? So no, at Nexford, you're not paying, okay, well, let me answer the first question first, which is, can you take additional courses? Yes. So anybody can take more than one course at the same time and finish their degree program faster. This applies also, of course, to the master's degree program, like our MBA. So there is an average duration, which is around 18 months for our MBA, but you can finish faster if your grades are higher. So you can take more than one course at the same time, depending on your grades. You have to, showcase that you can still succeed and do well in these courses with your grades, which means you're proving that you do have the ability to take more than one course at the same time and hopefully succeed and graduate. So you can take a maximum of 3 courses at the same time, but you have to take the first course of your program solo. And whether that takes you 1 month to complete or 2 months, we consider a term at Nexford as 2 months. So you can finish it faster in the sense that you can complete it in a month, but you'll have to take the first one alone, and then that forms your overall GPA, which gives us an idea what your grades are, and from that point you can add on more courses and ask to enroll in more than one course just to finish faster. So yes, you can finish it within 12 months. We've even had impressive cases where, master's degree programs or like MBA learners at Nexford were able to finish their program in maybe even just 6 months. So it really depends on your schedule. It depends on your pace. It depends on what you can do in 1 hour compared to what another learner can do in that same hour. So a lot of things to depend on here. And you only pay for the number of months you spend studying. So the faster you finish your Nexford program, the less you would pay in total. So you will not be continuing to pay once you've graduated. Okay. I see a question from Akin Fularin, who says, are the classes pre-recorded or virtual live? So there are many forms through which you're going to be learning at Nexford. They are not, I don't believe they are pre-recorded. You're not having professors in a video, telling you what to do. That's not the learning experience. There are, live sessions, every 2 weeks, I believe, or twice a month, that you can have with professors that are optional. They're not mandatory for you to join, but they're super, super useful for you to join those, and you can get a lot of questions answered for you and a lot of tips and tricks. So J-Code is asking, if I finish a course before the stipulated time, let's say I paid for the IBM full stack web development course that's supposed to run for 5 months, but was able to finish within that time, are there possibilities of getting a refund? I'm not too sure. I think for those professional certificates, it might be the case. It's not the case for the degree programs or anything like that. But since you are not paying for months you haven't spent studying, so I would say it would be possible, yes, if you were to finish faster and you had chosen to pay in advance, I do believe our finance team would help you with that. But I do recommend, to get a more solid answer on this, please reach out to our team on WhatsApp or send us an email at help@nexford.org so they can ask the relevant teams and get a clear answer for you on this, so you have that for reference. All right, I got an impressive from Francis. I hope you mean about the whole webinar or maybe the learning experience, but in any case, thank you so much, Francis. Anonymous attendee says, I see it's better to go to America then. Do you have a campus in the US? For those interested in physical studies, Nexford is 100% online. We were born online. We do not have a campus. We do have our headquarters in Washington, D.C. But other than that, we do not have offices or any physical spaces where learners can visit us. I think we do have, though, in Kenya, but there is no campus. All the learning is done 100% online. You are welcome to join the Washington, D.C. ceremony, the graduation ceremony upon graduation, of course. We'll help you with a letter, for your visa, an invitation letter, so you can attend the graduation ceremony. But other than that, we don't help, with visas or travel or anything like that. Okay, let's take just these last questions here. From Lepool, who says, is NXU planning to organize a virtual graduation event? A great follow-up question to what I just mentioned. So I know it's been in the plans for Nexford. I'm not sure when that's going to be done. If there is a graduation ceremony face-to-face, of course, we'd love to have that recorded and, you know, maybe aired live or something like that, some sort of virtual event. I'm not too sure if it's in the works at the moment, but as soon as it is, as soon as it's happening, you will know. Nexford will, of course, put that on our website or on our events page. If you're already in our system, then you're receiving our emails and our marketing emails and so on, then I'm sure you're going to be informed of that. But please feel free to follow up by email also with our help team so we can keep you in the loop. Okay. Okay, one last question here. So Francis said, is it possible to change the course that one chose during the registration process? Yes. So if you start your application for a certain course, you can just ask our admissions team that you wish to apply for something else, depending on the differences. Of course, if they have different admission requirements or different levels, whether it's an undergraduate program or graduate level, you might be required to, you know, resend, you know, certain admission related documents or so on, but you can definitely change the course that you initially chose in the registration process. All right. Okay, guys, I know we're getting additional questions here, but we have gone over time. So I do thank everybody for taking the time today to join this Nexford Virtual Tour. If you have additional questions, I will drop, you know, our WhatsApp number and our email. Also, yeah, there you go. My teammate in the background has shared our email address. So send an email to help@nexford.org. We'll also share our WhatsApp number. So you'll see that we'll get back to you in WhatsApp within the day. It could be a few hours, up to maximum maybe 20 hours, but within the day. So just please reach out to us on WhatsApp so we can provide you, you know, with more information regarding your questions. Just a reminder for everybody who wishes to start their program on March 1, the enrollment deadline for the March 1 intake is the 27th of February. So you've just got a few more days. You need to make sure to complete your application and your enrollment so you can join our March 1 intake. If you have any challenges with your application or so on, please let our team know and we'll assist you. We'll have somebody call you to assist you further. And we super look forward to you joining also our global learner community at Nexford. So thanks so much for the time everyone has put in for this call today. Thank you so much, Dr. Bill, Omolade, and Yakubu. Thank you also for your time. I hope everybody has a good day or a good evening.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
All right.
Bye.
Omolade, bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye, Yakubu. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dr. Bill, thank you.